to the first interview I've done here at Dragon Con. Yes, you're the first. Yeah, I've been a horrible slacker.
Thursday?
Thursday, nothing happened. I never heard back from anybody.
Okay. Telephone issues. Cause,
Well, yeah, I mean, it's been crazy. Oh, the cloister bell's going off. Who is texting during a episode of GPR? Is it somebody I need to see? It is you! I have just gotten a text from you.
Okay, I would like to illustrate the telephone issues.
We've probably been in here for about 10 minutes.
Yeah.
It has taken 10 minutes to get this text.
And the last time I texted you was from the Marriott, so
Well, that's some wibbly wobbly type-of stuff. That's kind of crazy for this all being Doctor Who. So yes, this is the first interview of Galloping Pirate Radio. Maybe the only interview at Galloping Pirate Radio, though I have met some incredible people that we will be bringing to the show. But yes, I am your host, David Champ, and I am joined by the assistant director. See, look, I'm trying to elevate you.
You're trying to. Please don't, because I see what Jill does. And
the assistant director to the Kaleidoscope track here at Dragon Con, which is sort of the kids track. A lot of ways, cartoons, all sorts of really fun stuff, especially from childhood. Because I remember last year when we talked about, like cartoons in the 80s and 90s and stuff like that. But this is Trish, and I don't know what you use for your last name.
Lightfoot.
Lightfoot? Is that really your last name?
Mary.
Or is it?
It was my married name, and I've just been sadly too lazy to go back to my maiden name.
I wasn't sure because some people use stage names, use pen names, and I couldn't tell if that was like, is that a pen name? Is that a stage name? Because in a way, you are a public figure, especially with something like Dragon Con. And yes. I know a lot of people. My friend Kelly, he uses a different name than his real name on the con circuit and things like that.
Right.
And most of his profiles are based off the con name versus the real name, kind of like radio DJs.
Well, I ended up sticking with it mainly because it was my married name, and then when I got divorced, I went back to my maiden name at work, so that's the one that they know me by, even though this is still my legal name, so, Cook Lightfoot, too.
Yes, well, that's interesting. So we've digressed from Doctor Who to last names people, but that's what we do here. It is a convention. So Doctor Who.
Yes.
Doctor Who. First thing I like to find out from people, because we do things a little differently. We do reviews and all that other stuff, which I know you do. Which I know you know because that's why you're here. Because wow, how many years have I known you now? 2, 3.
This is the third year Kaleidoscope track. So yeah.
Is it really third year?
Yeah.
You never did. Were you never a part of like the White Lit track or anything?
No.
Because it seems like I've known you longer.
No. Okay, is that a good thing or a bad thing?
No, it's just. Well,
I mean, is it like, oh my god, it's been 3 years?
No, I've been doing this 10 years, and sometimes it just kind of meshes. You're not sure exactly when you met somebody.
I came in. I was at Dragon Con a couple of years before that, but I came in as a staffer with the Kaleidoscope.
Really?
Just a random post on the Live Journal, needing help from Jill, and
the rest you can say is history.
And yeah, since I'm a big kid and I watch cartoons anyway.
Yes. So, Doctor Who, because I like to document, why we watch a show, because a lot of shows do the reviews, they review everything that comes out, but a lot of them don't talk to the fans. They want to focus on like the celebrities or what's come out, but I think it's fascinating to find out how different people come to the show, what they like about the show, what they don't like about the show. So how did you come to Doctor Who?
Actually, in high school, a friend of mine was asking if I had seen Doctor Who, and I had no idea what she was talking about.
So you're talking New Who, right?
That would be awfully nice. No. No, actually, I can't even tell you and I'm not going to tell you how long ago that was. But no, it was the PBS.
See, another PBSer.
Yes. But I had watched a lot of stuff on the PBS of the British stuff because we liked all the comedies, Good Life.
Yeah.
All that
Fawlty
stuff.
Towers.
Yeah, my parents watched all that stuff, and somehow I just never run across Doctor Who. Which my mom, being a huge original Star Trek fan, would have been a normal thing for her to watch, so I'm surprised that we didn't see it. But so they made me come over and watch it one week, and it was, and this is where I'm going to be really bad because I suck at names of the episodes. Genesis of the Dollars? Is that the one where they met Davros?
I believe so. Is it a Baker episode?
Yes.
So, okay, yeah, I'm pretty sure it's Genesis of the Dialects. Now, if Drew was here, he'd be able to tell you like that. He loves the Baker stuff. So your first Doctor was Tom Baker?
It was. That was the first one I saw. And that was the first episode I saw, and I just remember thinking this was really cool. And when the hell is this episode going to end? Because, of course, PBS ran the entire thing as one episode, and it was like, hey, it's 3 a.m. Are we going to stop soon?
See, that's something that has always amazed me is, like, when I watched Doctor Who, originally it was PBS and stuff like that, you know, they had the 2-hour block, and I would watch my episodes. So when I actually got my first VHS copy, which was, like, if I remember correctly, Castrovalva, because that's my favorite episode, I'm like, what's going on here? Why did you just break?
Why did you just cut the credits?
Yeah, because for me, it was always, it was like a movie. It was always a 2-hour movie.
Yeah.
And that's why I got really confused when I bought the Inferno DVD special edition. I'm watching it and I was like, I don't remember this. I don't remember this. This is going on much longer than I ever thought. When are they going to get to the alternate world? Because PBS had cut down the 6 episodes into a 2-hour slot.
Gotcha.
So I was baffled by that. So now, since Baker is your first Doctor, is he your favorite Doctor?
No.
He's not your Doctor?
No, he's not. And that's really weird.
I think that's great. I think that
but it's like the first time that's really I know I'm kind of weird when it comes to people of like usually most people that I've talked to, the first Doctor that they've seen is the one that they like.
Yeah.
At least in the newer stuff, like the people that I know that started with 9, like 9. People who started with 10, like 10, and
And for me, with talking the gamut, if they actually, strangely enough, I've talked to people that saw Troutman that was their first Doctor, their second Doctor, and they love him, or they started with the third Doctor, they loved him. A lot of them are also British. Those that I interviewed with that. But yeah, no, that's really interesting that Baker is not your favorite Doctor. So who is your Doctor?
Sylvester McCoy.
Why? Why is Sylvester your Doctor?
It's almost a personality thing. Don't get me wrong, I love Tom Baker.
I mean,
because good Lord, I saw a lot of those before I saw anybody else, because that's all PBS ran forever.
He had the longest run, 7 years.
Yeah, and that was, but at least the station where I was in California, they would go back and they would show those again, and I don't know if it was like a rights thing. I never investigated.
Well, the way it worked was they would buy the rights to X amount of episodes. It would be like they'll buy a catalog collection from the PBS, and that's what they would show. And they had the rights to keep rerunning it, reshowing it, and stuff like that once they bought the rights.
Yeah.
For however many years they bought the rights for. That's how that worked. And they would sell them in lots. So that's why a lot of people saw like the Tom Baker and the Davison stuff, because though Baker was multiple lots, but coming off Baker, you had
Davison.
You had the Davison, but like with Colin, not a lot of PBS stations bought Colin.
Yeah, no, they skipped that. I mean,
I
saw Baker and I saw a lot of Davison, but then they skipped and went into Sylvester. Yeah. And I have to say, I wasn't real fond of Melanie, whatever her name was.
Mel.
Mel.
Yeah.
Mel. But then again, because we skipped Colin, really you only saw her in a few episodes.
Yeah. Well, see.
So I don't know if she was better there or not, and I probably shouldn't start that debate because I don't know.
No. It's not really that. It's just like there was a lot of turbulence when it comes to the Collins run and what BBC was doing, and John Nathan Turner and a lot of things like there. Because I mean, they just drop her in. We don't even have an introduction story now.
Oh, okay.
I mean, she just drops in one of his episodes, and it just comes over, and I really feel bad for that actress. She seems wonderful on all her interviews. She never got a chance to actually develop her story.
And that was my problem with it. Is that, okay, first episode I didn't know anything about her, but I thought maybe other people did. But then you never really got to know much about her.
No.
So it was like, okay. And then they picked up Ace.
Yes, Ace. Dragonfire.
Yes. I liked, and it was a little hard to get used to, although there was a little bit of the kind of goofy with Tom Baker, but Sylvester McCoy has that whole pratfall clown thing going on, but it was, I don't know, the way that they played it, where he would be doing that, but then there was like this like utter seriousness underneath, and you would just hit that every once in a while and be like, whoa, uh-oh, you know what? And it was much more like a chess master. It was very much, he was putting people in situations, fix it, see what happens, do this, do that. Like when you find out that he knew all this stuff about Ace and he took her back to the house.
Yeah.
And all that stuff. So it was just like,
Well, a lot of that goes back to Andrew Cartnell, even though he wasn't, he was sort of like, doing a lot of the writing and sort of scripting. He wanted to bring the mystery back. He wanted to make the Doctor a little darker, more, bring mystery back to the thing, take a little bit of the comedy out, and a lot of it's all thanks to him. And I think McCoy did a wonderful job with what he had.
Yeah, and I never got a chance to see anybody before. I mean, even now I've only seen episodes here and there because I'd have to go through the money to collect it.
Yeah, the money. Yeah, I know the pain. Yes, I'm getting close. I'm getting really close, and getting the official. Honestly, the official BBC releases, because when you're at a con, you can buy like all of William Hartnell's run for $35. I'm sorry, I'm not gonna do that. It just pains my heart. But yeah. So. Do you remember what your first McCoy episode was?
I think it actually was the first one.
The
transformation. Time in the Ronnie.
Time in the Ronnie, yeah.
Which I wish we had got to do more with the Ronnie.
Yes.
Because she was pet theory, because she was dragged off by the aliens. Yeah. Tied up in who knows where. Yeah. She could still be around. Well, she might not have never been in the Time War because she could have been a captive the whole time.
Well, the thing is now, honestly, with the Big Bang 2 that happened, everything's been reset. We don't know if the Time War actually happened or not.
Oh.
Some people might remember it occurring, but there are a lot more Daleks than there were.
Yeah, that's true.
Pre-Big Bang. And honestly, look at what the Doctor's done to the Time Lords time and time again. Do you really think they're going to say, like, hi, we're back?
No. Let him be out there being the focus and taking all the attention, and we'll just be over here.
So, with New Who, did you start when Eccleston started?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So,
started from the beginning, heard it was coming, was like, yes. Had to totally corrupt my roommates who were like, Doctor Who. No, really, Doctor Who. Now, oh my God, you did not just say that. So, dragged them in kicking and screaming, and now they're like, when's the new episode? Come on.
So awesome. So out of the new Who Doctors, do you have a favorite?
9.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, no. There's nothing wrong with it.
No, I know.
No, because what I've always said is they needed somebody like Eccleston.
I think that transition was what
you needed. The name. You needed the draw. But you just couldn't rely off of the Doctor Who name. You needed a star, and he's just especially over there. He is a star.
Oh, yeah. But I also thought with the way that they played him, and I'm not sure, now granted, Tennant can, and he has done great dark moments, like when he's, the Runaway Bride or whatever, when he's standing there with the remote control. Yeah. And, Donna has to stop him. Yeah. He does great dark, but Eccleston just had a good, I don't know, I almost hated that, almost emo. He was angry. He wasn't dark, he was angry. And when you were doing that whole thing where they had the Time War and all that, you needed that. He needed to be angry. Yeah. Well, just look at the episode of the dialogue.
Eccleston's run is hurt him with me, because, a lot of people love the ones with the, are you my mommy? Which was one of Moffat's first, where they introduced Captain Jack, because they are harking back to the old Bakers with the horror. I was just kind of like, I didn't like that episode. I didn't like that two-parter, but, dialogue, Eccleston really does a phenomenal performance.
The look on his face when it said you would make a good Dalek.
Yeah.
I was just like, and there you go.
Yeah, no.
It's just that horrible realization. People talk about later with Matt Smith, when they were talking about how the others see him.
Yeah.
And like him having that realization, but I was like, no, I think he really kind of had it that first with 9, when the Dalek was like admiring him.
Yeah. Yeah, no, and I think Tennant really, sold it to the masses.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'll say this, I think Smith just took it and ran with it.
Oh, yeah.
Because, with both Eccleston and Tennant, they did not sell me in their first episode.
No.
By the end of the 11th hour, I was getting goosebumps. Smith was the Doctor, and I'll admit, I cannot wait for the 50th, when we get to find out more about John Hurt. I'm going to ask, so who do you think the John Hurt Doctor is?
I have no idea.
You have no idea? You have no guesses?
I'm terrible. I have no guesses. I'm like, the only thing that I was having was somebody was asking, one of my friends was asking, well, the thing about the limitation with the regenerations. And, the only theory I had there was that whole thing with River, where she gave him regenerations or whatever to heal him. I was like, well, you know. And then besides that, as Doctor Who, they'll find out. And the Master screwed around with that.
Yeah, well,
anyway.
I mean, okay, this is where I'm going to go on my nerd lecture. Well, the thing is during Deadly Assassin, which was Baker, and then what happened later on towards the end of Baker's run with right after the East Space Trilogy in the New Beginning stuff, right before they went to Peter Davison. I mean, the Master had used up all his regenerations. That's why he was jumping from body to body, being a zombie, or like the Mummy Master, the Master. I mean, and the Time Lords did say that we can restore your full regenerations.
Okay.
But the thing is with the Doctor is, if you actually look at everything that's been done, that is canon, yes, canon. You have the Brain of Mobius, where we see some earlier incarnations of the Doctor before he was the William Hartnell Doctor. The Watcher, the Valeyard, and a few other things. He's already surpassed 13 regenerations.
Well, he breaks all the other rules.
Well, the thing is, this is my theory about the Doctor. We know that 3 Time Lords created time travel. Omega, I was about to say the Rani, Rassilon, and the other. I think there's a really good chance that the Doctor was the 3rd person there, and he's been lying this entire time about just how old he is, and honestly, I mean...
And that would actually make sense, because they were doing that really awful, and I know it's not canon, and it was probably never going to get done anyway, but they did all that weird stuff with the matter spinner and DNA spinner or whatever. The guy who was when they were talking about the end of Sylvester McCoy's, there was another season that they were going to do, and they'd already started.
Oh, the looming stuff.
Yeah, the looming stuff. Actually, and they were talking about how they were going to maybe make him like that material had been reloomed, and it was him.
Well, the thing is all that stuff actually sort of became canon with the New Adventure novelizations. I mean, it was.
I've heard so many debates about that, whether it is canon or not.
Well, this is the thing: is Stephen Moffat said, after the Big Bang 2, it's all canon.
Oh.
We're talking the comics, the novels, the Big Finish audios.
Oh, awesome.
All of it is canon. Now, what effect does it hold on what occurred after the Big Bang 2? We don't know.
Right.
But at one point, I mean, he even pretty much went and said that the Peter Cushing Doctor from the 2 Dialect movies was sort of canon, even though he was a human scientist. But I mean, he's going on that limb, but I mean, he also gave himself a fresh slate.
Yeah,
but,
that's cool.
But yeah, no, I honestly, I can't wait to see what they make, because I have my theories about who the Hurt Doctor is.
Okay.
And I'm curious, and these people have heard me rattle on multiple times about who I think it is.
I haven't got to see that yet. I have them downloaded on my computer, but I have not watched them yet.
But, so what do you think about the new Doctor, Peter Capaldi? I
don't know anything about him. I mean, other than, what I've read. But the one thing that I've kind of had to do all along the way, I mean, I vaguely knew who Eccleston was, because I'd seen him in other things. Never big parts, but I was like, oh, okay. And then they said, oh, it's going to be David Tennant. And I was like, well, who the hell's David Tennant? David Tennant. And I was like, oh, well, he was in Harry Potter. And I was like, okay, so I've seen him for 2 seconds. So it's pretty much been that way, but I've been happier with that, because I don't have any...
Well, I mean, not just so much, like what he's done before, but I mean, that they've gone older. I mean, this actor...
Oh, I'm actually okay with that.
This actor will be the same age as William Hartnell was when he started the part, when he actually does a regeneration. Now, when he starts the role, he'll be a year older when they start the episodes proper. But I mean, a lot of people, there is a lot of fan backlash, mostly from, I hate to say it, the nouveau fans, the ones that have jumped on, I mean, that don't understand the scope of the history.
I just think you have a lot more story potential, like character-wise. Personality character-wise. It's great to have somebody young and, all active and, like Matt Smith and all that, and I loved him. I'll make myself really unpopular now. I didn't like Amy. I did like her for about the first season, but then I was kind of getting tired of her, and I'm sorry.
How can you not like Amy?
But I liked Rory. Does that help?
Well, honestly, a lot of Rory, I think, out of the entire history of 50 years of Food Companions, he had the most change. He had the greater story arc.
And maybe that was why I became disenchanted with Amy, not necessarily because I didn't like Amy, but because they were giving this great character development story arc to Rory.
Yeah.
And she wasn't giving to Cher and...
Yeah, I honestly, I think they did that on purpose. I think we were supposed to see, this switch of roles.
Yeah.
And I mean, just the moment when they did the Girl Who Waited, because of what Roy had done, and when the doctor makes Roy be dark and choose to kill the other Amy, I was just like, wow.
Yeah, that was an interesting episode.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's.
But yeah, I mean, that just might have been my whole problem. Is it was more like I kind of felt like Amy.
She eventually took the backseat to the story. I mean, she really did, and I think, or at least I would really think that they did that on purpose.
Yeah, I would think so because she was such a big part in the beginning. I could see they
and it's kind of interesting that they would sort of switch that. Now I know that people would argue that it was always Amy's story, Amy's show, but no, I really felt because I mean, even if you saw the PS, the prologue that they filmed or they wrote but never filmed. I mean, it wasn't Amy that delivered the PS. It was Rory that delivered the PS.
Yeah, I mean, and that's a big thing. And I know I just went away from the whole 12th Doctor thing.
Oh, that's fine.
It's always been really nice that, especially, and you did see some of that with the original guys.
Yeah.
But where you kind of learn more about them through their companions. But then sometimes they really didn't give the companion a personality enough and all that stuff. So there was like good ones and bad ones.
Yeah.
They have been really good with this one, whether you like the companion or not, that they were there to add to the Doctor's story. So that was something about the newer that I've really liked.
So this is interesting, because you're a female, I'm going to ask you this. What do you think of River?
River.
Like her, hate her, love her, I mean, what do you think of River?
I don't know, that's really, I'm not going to say love. I think it got a little overdone. I think there was a little too much of her. But, I mean, I did, once we kind of saw where it was going, I was like, okay. But I really liked it, in the beginning where it was like, here was River. She knew him.
Yeah.
Whatever. And then if she was going to show up again, that was awesome. But then when she was, like, almost in all of it, it was like, okay, enough now.
Well, I mean, the good thing is there's only really one more scene we have to see with River. I mean, what it really boils down to it is the handing off of the screwdriver.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, we've seen everything else. And from what I'm hearing through the production channels, we might have one more River, and that's it. And it'll be small, because her time has sort of come.
I have to say, I did like her last appearance, where she was just there talking as, like...
I'm trying to think of what that was.
I can't remember what it was called, but it was the one where she was talking to, and oh dear God, I just forgot the latest companion's name.
Oswald.
Oh,
are you talking about when they were in the Name of the Doctor?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, well, what's going on? And then he just, when he did that thing.
Oh, in front of the grave?
Yeah. And was I've always heard it. It was just like...
When, I'll say that, I think that was the definitive moment for those two characters. Mm-hmm. She's like, listen to me, damn it. And he just does that speech, and you think he's talking to the tombstone. And then he just says... I always see you, you're always there. Yeah, and she's just like, for once, just say goodbye to me. And he just does that farewell speech at the very end of the episode.
Yeah.
And then she gets her one last spoilers in there.
And it was just, I don't know, they just, some of the time they didn't really sell me.
Yeah.
Like, as
That moment, see,
sometimes the
goosebumps. It's one of those few times that I felt the chemistry was real between them.
Yeah, and the speech, it was really well written, and the whole thing where he wouldn't look at her when he said that it hurt him too much.
Yeah.
And she's like, well, I could deal with it, and he's like, I wasn't talking about you or whatever, and it was just, but he wouldn't look at her, and I was like, oh.
Yeah, no, that...
Okay, you sold me, finally.
I mean, honestly, that was a real turning point, I think, in that relationship. For me as a viewer, I bought it finally.
Oh, yeah, and that was it. I mean, I was like, I could see... And I think that was actually why I didn't like it. I think it felt rushed. Here they've supposedly known each other for this really long time. I didn't feel like they had to keep having her appear and do all these episodes and be, try to fit it all in here. Because especially when she said that he was so young.
Yeah.
Compared, so I was like, oh, well, I kind of feel like, this is going to be, going on for a long time, and it just seemed a little rushed. But it helps that I always like the actress.
Oh, Alexis Kingston is incredible. I loved her on ER.
And she did this movie about Boudica. It was a British movie that she did. It's about a tribal...
Oh, nice. Yeah, I haven't seen it.
Yeah, versus the Romans. Somebody bootlegged it because we can't get it over here. But I did not just say I watched an illegal movie. I didn't own it, at least.
We know nothing about bootlegging here.
No, nothing. Nothing at all.
Or pirate ships.
These are not
yeah.
Move on.
Yes, I know. BBC, please, you've been wonderful to me so far. Don't shut me down yet. Because really, I know you could. So as, a fan that has exposure to new Who and old Who, have a nice mixture of it all, what do you want out of the 50th anniversary, the 50th episode, the special?
The world. I don't know.
How would you define the world?
I want a taste of kind of everything that they used to have. I mean, it'd be nice. It's nice, and I love the idea of getting to see other doctors. And even if they just touch on different incarnate, I want to see stuff about different, and I know that they're kind of planning this, but stuff on different, I don't know what they're planning.
You honestly, you don't know what they're planning?
I honestly don't. You don't? And see, this is why I'm really late watching your podcast, to be honest, because I hate spoilers.
Well, see, I don't like to...
But the thing is that, I only dislike certain spoilers, and then, if I know you're talking about a certain thing, I'll be like, well, I'll watch that.
Yeah. No, see, the thing with... The one thing... Since I started the show, I stay away from all the website spoilers. The only thing I allow myself to know is what they release in press releases or official, video and stuff. I mean, because I don't want to be spoiled, because I want my reaction for the camera to be as pure as possible.
Yes, and I will give BBC credit that what they release has never actually spoiled me.
Yeah.
It's always been a good teaser. I can be really gun shy just because of other studios or whatever, and it's and you just told me what happened.
Yeah, see, I think that's...
Why do I want to watch it?
But I think that's the amazing thing about not just the BBC, but the Doctor Who team. There's a lot of people that have to approve what actually goes out. They're very careful because they don't want stuff ruined.
So what is, in general, going to happen?
What we know is... this is going to be the first time they ever simulcast an episode of Doctor Who.
Ooh.
It's going to be simulcast around the world, I think based around the 3 p.m. showing. The 6 p.m. showing, 7 p.m. showing over in England, which will be about 2 or 3 o'clock here in the States. But we're talking, it's going to simulcast around the world, so nobody can... I mean, they will be able to pirate it later on, but it can't be ruined. I mean, everybody's going to have the chance to see it at the same time.
We can all watch it at the same time,
which means I'm going to have to go to a local coffee shop that shows it, because I don't get BBC America.
So I don't have to do the 2-day avoid my TV and internet and everything, because, I mean, it's okay, something new happened, shut down Facebook.
Yeah, I mean, and honestly, all we really do know is that, we're going to have Tennant, we're going to have a Rose. And we're not sure which version they are. We don't know if it's the Meta-Crisis Doctor or whatever. I really doubt it. I think it's going to be the Doctor proper. We're going to have Oswald. We're going to have Matt Smith's Doctor. And we're going to have John Hurt.
Okay.
I mean, that's what we know. And this isn't a really spoiler, but from what I'm hearing, what we thought we've had so far as the 50th anniversary stuff, that the little fan stuff they've been doing service through this past season, is just the beginning.
Ooh.
That all of next season, especially now with Capaldi coming on at being the same age, that's where they're really going to be celebrating the 50th anniversary for the classic stuff.
Cool.
The Name of the Doctor was only the beginning, and we're going to have a whole year of more...
Nice.
Yeah, I mean, they finally understand... and I'm not going to spoil what I've heard, because honestly, I don't know if it's fact or fiction.
Right.
But if what I'm hearing, even if the tiniest sliver is correct, it's going to be one hell of a season that they're going to give us once Capaldi takes over after Christmas.
That will be, and...
I just got this. Are you still wearing your parade band?
I am. I was in the Dragon Con parade. I was Princess Bubblegum.
The evil Princess Bubblegum.
Yeah, sadly, it doesn't... Well, I mean, I could probably do it this way, but I've showered a couple times, too. And it's still... I will try to get that off at some point, but...
It just hit me that you had that. I totally segued there out of the conversation.
Yes, I'm still wearing my parade band. It surprisingly has not come up yet.
Wow. I was expecting another text message, but I got one, so I might get in 20 more minutes after, sent like 2 hours ago. But I don't know where I was going with that. But yeah, you want a little of everything.
I'll everything. I mean, I like, and I don't know how he's going to play the personality, so that's nice. But it'd be kind of cool to go back to some of that, darker.
The only thing we know is that he's going to be old. He's not going to be Matt Smith.
And that's awesome.
All wild and stuff. We know that maybe he might keep the Scottish accent, but beyond that, we don't know much.
Yeah, and I mean, I like that. I like that he's going to be older, and I think that's one of the things, the whole thing where it was like, oh, he's getting younger all the time. I was like, well, I like a little bit older because, not just because, and it's not to say that Matt Smith is a terrible actor or anything, because obviously I liked him as Doctor Who.
Yeah. The Doctor.
Older.
Yeah.
I did it.
I know. Trust me, I do it all the
Oh.
time. Especially it's third day at Con. It feels like the fifth day or something.
It's the third day at Con, and
it's Dragon Con, and anybody that's been to Dragon Con knows what we're talking about.
Yes. So yes, but an older actor generally just has more to draw on. Yeah. And usually
more experience.
More experience.
Because they've had more roles.
More experience. They've had more roles. They've been in more situations. It tends to give them more. It tends to give them more depth to the part. And I think that Matt Smith did an awesome job, and I love David Tennant, but I've liked all the older ones too. Yeah.
I'm looking forward. Well, two things I would honestly like to see, and most people will be shocked that I'm going to say this. I would like to see Berriman come back as Captain Jack.
That would be cool.
Because I know that they've tried to get him before in the past, but his filming schedules and stuff like that had prevented him because he was supposed to be Good Man Goes to War. Yeah. Didn't happen. I would love to see him in the 50th or next season with Capaldi, though I would have loved to see the energy between Matt Smith and Captain Jack.
That would have been hilarious.
It would have been a very interesting dynamic, and honestly, I would love to see the Doctor interact with K9 again because it's been too long.
Yeah, I think we need a nice upgraded, K9, not like super upgraded.
Oh, you mean like the Australian show? Oh, basically what happened was, the reason why they lost K9 and the Sarah Jane Adventures, except for cameos, was because the way it works in BBC, if you create something, you own the copyright, regardless if it's for a series. So K9 was owned by, I forget the guy's estate that owns it, got licensed out to an Australian TV show company. They did a children's show based around K9. Surprisingly good. And it finally aired. It finally aired in the States like 3 years after it had been filmed. It's been filmed for a while. And they're finally getting a second season. I don't know if they're going to use the same kids because the kids are like 4 or 5 years older than they were in that show. But I would like, and after the show aired, Sarah Jane Adventures used them as much as they could before that show ended, unfortunately, because of Liz Slavin's passing. Yeah. But I want to see the Doctor interact with K9 again.
I love K9
because I miss that.
I miss K9. That is my son's favorite. I got one of those little voice thingies last year, and it's got K9 on it. And
nice.
What, affirmative master or whatever.
Yes.
Push that button 100 times.
So does your son watch Doctor Who at all?
No, not really. He's watched a few things, and he made me draw him a picture of a Dalek to hang on his wall.
Oh, really?
Yes. Which was interesting because I can draw a lot of things. I went to art school, but...
Joe Kubert?
Yeah. How'd you know that? Did I tell you that?
No. I do my research. I know
I
know the people I interview.
Yes, I went to the Joe Kubert School up in New Jersey. Not much of a mechanical drawer, though, so they're surprisingly tricky to draw.
Well, there's a lot of lines,
There's a lot of lines, and then, scale, and I wasn't actually measuring anything. It was me and a ruler and kind of guesstimating, and luckily he loves it. I look at it and go, no, actually, he stole my sonic screwdriver, he took my voice adapter thingy, and he made me draw him a picture of a Dalek, but Doctor Who scares him. Because he plays Minecraft a lot, and he likes this group that probably a lot of people have heard of called the Yogscast. And
I don't play Minecraft, so I'm going to assume.
And yet, it's hilarious because if I ever mention it in a panel, everybody's like, Yogscast! And I'm like, why have I never heard of these guys until now? They do nothing but little podcast videos of them playing and all that stuff.
Oh, nice.
They have not just millions of views, but millions. And they're they put out new, like, 5 videos every day. But they played, somebody made a Weeping Angel mod for Minecraft. Now you have to imagine this, since Minecraft, everybody's blocks.
Yeah.
I mean, I know you've seen it.
Oh, well, yeah, I've seen it. Oh, yeah, oh, yeah.
So yeah, Weeping Angels in block form. And Simon and the other guy, and my son would be mad at me right now because I can't remember his name, are playing it, and they're like looking around, and then it'll be looking in the window, and they'll be screaming, and he's like, oh my god, and then so he's like, no, I might see a Weeping Angel. I'm like, I'll tell you what episodes have the Weeping Angels. I won't let you, no.
See, that's actually a very interesting phenomenon, because different people I've interviewed and just stuff that documentary-wise, I mean, a lot of kids used to watch it behind the sofa because they were scared but not scared. They wanted to be scared but they wanted to be safe. And I mean, that's just something that has been generational, because I was talking to AJ Hartley, who actually connects with the Kaleidoscope track because he writes middle grade stuff. He said, you know, he didn't even bring this term up, the behind the sofa thing, because he was talking to his son, and he was like, yeah, you know, I love Doctor Who, but I like watching it behind the sofa because I feel safe. Which is, like, that is, like, I mean, there's some documentaries and some books and stuff that are named that, you know, I watch Doctor Who behind the sofa. It's a term that has always surrounded Doctor Who, and it's interesting how it's still here today, even when they don't realize that it's a wonderful thing. It's a multi-generational, I mean, a very multi-generational thing now.
Yeah. Well, it's funny because, I mean, he's really, I don't know if it's just that I talk about it that much, which is possible, or, you know, just that I came home with a screwdriver and a...
Which one? Which screwdriver?
Rivers.
Ah, yes.
Yeah. I was actually looking, I can't remember which one I was looking for, but that was the one that they had, and I like the little, the little memory thing on it. And it took me 2 colors.
It took me forever to figure out how to do the 2-color thing.
Me too.
I was just like...
I was like, it's supposed to be 2 colors, how do I do it?
I know, I'm feeling stupid because, I mean, I'm a grown adult. I work IT. I can figure out a kid's toy. Because I know, honestly, there are no directions.
No, there aren't.
I went online trying to figure out how to do this, and I think I found a YouTube video that finally showed me.
He found it out.
Yeah.
One day he's walking around into blue.
Yeah. But once I figured it out, I was like, aha!
I was like, aha, I got it.
And I was confusing other people with that.
But yeah, he liked the toys, but I think he likes the concept.
Yeah.
He's always been a sci-fi kid.
Yeah.
And this is why it cracks me up, that, like, the Weeping Angels scare him. He's always been weird about what scares him. He watched Godzilla very young.
Yeah.
He's always been fascinated by aliens and the Predators. Like,
and the Weeping Angels scare him?
And the Weeping Angels scare him. Well, okay, to be fair, at the time Donald Duck scared him, but he was still drawing chest bursters.
I mean, come on, drooling acid. I mean, at least Weeping Angels, they don't kill you, they just send you back in time. They eat off your life energy that could have been. I mean, they don't kill you.
To live to death. I didn't get that. I used to get called into parent-teacher conferences. Is he stabbing somebody? No, it's chest burster. From Alien? You let him watch Alien? No, I honestly have no idea, and no, really honestly have no idea where he got exposed to it. But he found the concept fascinating, and he would ask a million questions. And now he's starting to do the same thing about Doctor Who.
Oh, cool.
So kind of hoping he'll do that thing where a lot of kids do, where it's like, okay, it scares me, but now I kind of want to start testing the waters.
I don't want to date you, but I'm kind of curious. Is he like elementary? Is he middle? Is he in high school?
He's elementary.
Okay.
He's going to be 11.
That gives a lot of context. Because one thing I noticed, like when I do my school trips with my bookmobile, the middle schoolers. I was actually, I think, wearing this Doctor Who shirt, which is a Weeping Angel shirt. And I had more kids stop and talk to me about Doctor Who. I was like, next time I come out, I'll bring the books. Because they were just so fascinated by it. So, I mean, yeah, he definitely is getting to that point where he might just...
He might just start, and I'll just have to be kind of like, okay, well, I'll, introduce you and make you skip certain ones.
I'll just make him watch Blink first. He'll be good to go.
You know the one I think I'll actually scare him worse is Midnight? Is that what it was called? The one where they're on the planet with the lady and they were in... that would scare the crap out of me.
That was such a great episode.
A great episode.
Yes.
But it scared me.
Yeah.
I mean, that lady was great.
Yeah.
But I was like, I think we'll skip that one.
Yeah, that one, yeah. Wow. Yeah, there's some gems there. But I mean, honestly, one of the episodes I love introducing people to with, besides the very first episode, or Unearthly Child. I don't care about the 2000 BC or 20,000 BC. I don't like the back end of those episodes. I like the pilot. I like Unearthly Child, but Unearthly Child is one I love introducing people with because it's a fun, fast-paced episode. I also like Girl in the Fireplace.
Oh yeah, I love that one.
Oh god, that one is just heart-wrenching.
Yeah.
Because honestly,
I'm surprised how many things she shows up in too.
Well,
I mean, just as an actress.
Well, spoilers here.
Oh.
She's coming back.
Awesome.
We don't know if she. We don't know if she'll be renowned. We don't know who she's exactly. We know the actress is coming back.
I know what I want.
What do you want?
The new Doctor. I want an actual non-human companion.
We almost had that.
I want somebody, or even just not a modern. I was so excited when we first got.
Yes,
and Clara or whatever her name was, and I was like, ooh, we're getting a Victoria, we're breaking out of the box, and then she died, and I was like, wait a minute.
No, we almost at one point possibly had a dialogue companion during Eccleston's run. But yeah, no, that's one thing that I've said on the show. It would be nice to have an alien companion. It would be nice to have somebody displaced from time, like Leela was. She was humanoid based, but she came from a primitive culture, and they had those great Pygmalion episodes. Yeah. Especially with the Tales of
White Sean. And I mean, I love Sarah Jane, but I like Leela.
Yeah.
And even when he was traveling, I like Ramona.
Yeah.
I was like, dude, bring her.
And honestly, honestly, a lot of people say, make the Doctor a girl, make the Doctor a girl. I'm like, okay, what? Let's not do that. Let's bring back Ramona. Yeah. I think that'd be a far more interesting dynamic and story to tell.
Why not have an actual other, Lord and Ramona was such an excellent personality and own character that. But that's the thing is that it's like. And this is where it's like talking to somebody who's seen the old episodes, and then it's like talking to my roommates who've seen nothing but the new ones. And I was like, well, why introduce another one? I mean, why turn him into a girl? You could just have Ramona. And they're like, no.
Yeah, I mean, she's such a wonderful, wonderful character that, I mean, I just want her, I want that character back.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So, that's another thing I'm really hoping with the 50th, that, we get Time Lords back proper, that we get, I want Ramona back. I mean, I really want that character back.
I want her back. I'd like more Ronnie.
Yeah, I mean...
Because, the Ronnie, there were moments where it was, like, a little goofier than others, but I think she had huge potential.
Well, I mean, every time there's a female companion that has a mystery, that's the first thing that comes up. Is it going to be the Ronnie?
Ronnie?
Yeah.
I just, she was the evil scientist.
Yeah. She was, So yeah,
everybody else is all Time Lordy and all that, but she was just the plain out evil scientist.
Yeah, I mean that's what she was always doing. So do you have a favorite companion? Since we've talked favorite Doctor and we started talking companions there, and you can be New Who. You can have a New Who one, a classic Who one, or just one in general.
Well, I don't know. Going back, I mean, there's always going to be a special fond place for Sarah Jane, because that was the first one, but still probably Ace.
No, yeah.
But she had a lot of stuff going on with her.
She
and
did.
That was that great character arc stuff,
And it was all out of order for us. I mean, it was great. I mean, it was a true character arc, and I don't think there has been a companion. There had never really been a companion like that.
Yeah. And I mean, they were obviously doing all this setup, and there was a lot more going to be going on, because, you had the stuff with the Fenric, and the Curse of the Fenric, and all that stuff where... had something to do with her being able to sense things wrong in time, and all this other. It was like, okay, there's a lot, and I read a lot of the stuff that they were trying to plan.
Well, what the final plan was for her, right? Was.
Well, I've heard of different accounts, so.
Well, what I've heard, and this is off the Survival DVD, was they were going to make her the first human female Time Lord.
That was what I had heard.
Yeah,
too. That was what I had heard that they were setting up in that whole thing. And I was like, I thought that was awesome.
Yeah, it was just like, that was the plan.
Because that's something that's kind of hard to remember sometimes with the way that they do it. But not everybody was a Time Lord.
No, not every Gallifreyan was a Time Lord.
Was a Time Lord.
Yes.
So there was.
But every Time Lord was a Gallifreyan up until that point.
Yeah.
Until they had the concept of possibly moving Ace there, but they never got a chance to explore that.
She was probably my favorite there. But I like Rory too. He had a great story arc.
He had a very, very great story arc.
I'm terribly character driven. I don't know if that's
there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, it's it makes for more interesting characters.
And I mean, it's the same thing in almost every genre. It's like I don't like a lot of country music, but if you give me a good set of lyrics, etc., and all of a sudden that would be my favorite song in the world. And it's kind of the same with characters. Maybe I might not even like that actor, but oh dear God, they just had this great part written for them, and all of a sudden that's the best person in the world. So.
Nice. Anything else you want to say about Doctor Who? What you like about it? What you did? Is there anything you don't like about Doctor Who?
Anything I don't like about Doctor Who? Well, I mean, nothing that's like really kind of the fault of the show. I mean, there's been like good episodes, bad episodes. There's been points where I've been like, oh my God, pick it up.
Well, 50 years.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean.
50 years. It's gonna happen.
Yeah. I mean, exactly. I mean, and honestly, if you think about 50 years, I mean, there are not a lot of programs that can claim a 50-year run.
Nope. My main complaint is that and it's not really the show. It's just that I have a hard time like actually knowing some of the backstory and stuff because I don't.
Yeah.
You know, I didn't get to watch it, so I don't have the resources, and some of it doesn't exist. So,
yeah, I know.
I'd really like to know all that. So, I geek it as much as I can. But, no, there's definitely times where I'm like, there has been a couple times where I kind of felt like it hit that almost what I call Joss Whedon syndrome, and it's not. I love Joss. Don't think I don't.
Ooh, we're getting an exclusive here. Oh, we're getting some dish.
I love Joss, but he can't concentrate on more than one thing at a time.
Yeah.
Or it all goes to crap.
It does.
And so
we were talking about that earlier. In another conversation, it's like when you had the 3 shows going on at once.
Yeah.
Whenever
I thought you were there for that.
Yeah. Whenever Angel was really good, I mean, I thought Buffy lacked. Whenever Buffy was inclevel, Angel lacked.
And then when pay attention to Firefly, and they both were just like, what is going on?
Honestly, I just say it. But Firefly was so good. Because honestly, I watched that pilot episode, and I've never seen chemistry with actors like that ever.
It was just instant.
It was perfect.
Yeah.
But I will say season 5 of Angel. The best season ever.
And I make myself really unpopular with a few friends. I hated Connor. That whole.
He did nothing for me.
But I had well, I will qualify that with. I hated him for the same reason that I was kind of hating Buffy that season, was because everybody had a revelation and then promptly forgot it.
Yeah. Every
single episode was like, oh, I learned what's going wrong. And then they were right back with it. And I was just like, oh, I'm so tired of this. Would you just move on? But that was, So, but the whole 5th season, totally redeemed. And I watched that one like over and over.
I mean, honestly, I really wish that they would have given him a 6th season of Angel. Yeah. Because, yes, they've supposedly continued the show in the comics. It's just not the same. It isn't. But I mean, that season 5 was just absolutely amazing.
It hit like every mark.
It did.
And I mean, some of it just sheer ridiculousness. Spell Time.
Yeah.
Puppet Angel.
Oh, it was.
Somebody told me they were going to do. You see pictures and you're like, they're going to do. Oh my God, what are they doing? And then you watch it, you're like, that was brilliant.
Yeah.
So everything in that season, even although especially like the whole Amy Acker.
Heartbreaking.
Yes. Heartbreaking when that happened, and then heartbreaking in that last episode.
Yeah.
Do you want me to pretend now? And oh dear God, yes. And I was just.
Yeah, no, I was that episode. I mean, Gunn, at the end where he was just like, that whole thing. I mean, and then the dragon's mine. I mean.
Yep, dragon's mine. See, and there's that character thing again, because my favorite in there was Wesley.
Oh, yeah.
Because he started as Mr. He started as that guy you absolutely hated in Buffy, who was like a total moron. Yeah. It's the guy at the end.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean,
who, when he was sitting there researching how to help Fred, shot the guy in the knees because he was taking up 2 seconds of his time.
Yeah.
I was like, okay.
Yeah, no, he's another character that grew, and that's, I mean, he's my favorite character of that show. So anything?
But sorry, that was my whole point, was that some of there has been a couple things, and it wasn't Matt Smith's fault or anything, but I think there was a couple times where it felt kind of like they hit that more like it was filler, and I was kind of like.
I think that's.
And I might have more patience with it if I go back and watch it now, because I can watch it in a row, but I don't know how to track.
Because I mean, I've rewatched. I always. I mean, when the box sets come out, I always rewatch it, and I watch episodes I don't like. I just think it's Moffat. Sometimes he gets a screen idea that then he realizes, oh wait, I can't do this, so I have to rework stuff.
Gears,
well, it's like with Mel's. There had never been a mention of this great childhood friend of Amy and Roy's until that episode, until Good Man, or until Let's Go Hitler, and that bothered me. It seems like he decided to throw that in there out of the blue, like, oh, I have this brilliant idea, but things that make Moffat so ingenious is that he does weave stuff that's so important throughout the entire thing, just like Whedon does. Like, something happened in season 1 is going to be important in like season 7.
Exactly.
And it's just like, I'm going to throw Mills in there because I have a really cool idea, and it just didn't work for me.
Yeah, well, it took too long to gel. I mean, you know, by the time they get around in, you know, Melody Pond and River Song.
Which actually I knew that they were one and the same when he made the comment that the way he was writing Doctor Who at the time was like Peter Pan. Because if anybody knows the story of Peter Pan, he doesn't end up with Wendy, he ends up with Wendy's daughter. And I was just like,
it's like,
yeah! And the second he said that, I knew, and so when they revealed the name, I was like, yeah.
But that's he's a lot, he and Joss and Straczynski.
Yes.
Because that's, I mean, that, you know, for I love Battle of 5 Points.
But
as much as the first season is painful to watch, there's things in there that actually have repercussions, and these guys are spoiling me for all the people who write stuff that gets solved in one episode.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, and I think, you know, sometimes that's a strength, sometimes it's a weakness, especially if they decide we're going to change gears and
then it leaves that dead space. But it also can be a weakness if you're just dealing with Fox.
Yeah.
It's going to take a little bit to get going, and the people... Yes, he has his loyal fan base, but for the new fan base, it takes a little bit for them to realize that all this stuff is interwoven, and they might peel off.
And the thing is you need that new fan base. I mean, it's great to have the old fan base, but with the way ratings and the whole thing works...
you have to have the new fan base, otherwise, you know...
Yeah, because the funny thing is, in England right now, the ratings for Doctor Who are dropping, but real world...
Yeah.
The world, it's shooting up...
Well, because they never really, you know, showed it at the time. Here, I mean, you always had the PBS after the fact stuff.
Right, or like when they relaunched it. I mean, it first showed on Sci-Fi, wasn't even showing on BBC America. I mean, and when they finally did start showing, it was like months off.
Well, yeah, I mean, now we're like like a week behind.
No, we're actually
there was a while
same
that we were
now.
like a week behind. But I know, like in the beginning, it was like I have friends in England who'd be like, "Yeah, we're watching it." Like, I don't get it.
No, they finally, because they realized